I don't think a lot of people know this, that you got your first scholarship right before your ninth grade season started. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect it at all. Like my dad had said that like Coach Fashawn was coming to the game, and like I'd gone to all of her camps growing up, like since I was a little kid, and I mean she even remembers I used to cry on the sideline because I was too scared to like go out there and do stuff, and like did a call at this time, and I was like, okay, like didn't really know what to expect, had no idea, still was blindsided. Um, I don't know, he might have known, but like after as soon as she said it, I like was crying and I broke down like cuz I didn't know, I wasn't expecting it, and it was just kind of like you felt like a lot of success in the moment, and it was just like overwhelming like happiness at that time. But then like obviously now that like you had that opportunity, like you have to keep working, keep going forward. Like that doesn't mean it's just the end. So I think it was a super happy moment, and I was super excited. It was unexpected, but then it like also like you have pressure to like
Oh my
keep
god,
going.
Mia!
Yeah, and when you take a pic, I like the way you pose a special way. Can deal with petty shit, I never let drama get in the way. And you can deal with none of your problems, cause you rather run away. It hurts the most when your family tend to be your biggest pain.
Welcome back to Fast Break Focus, presented by 921 Media. Shout out to 20 Minutes of Your Time podcast. Our background is still under construction, but it will be up underway soon. Joining us today is a 6'3" forward from South Thomaston and one of Maine's brightest basketball talents. At Oceanside High, she became the school's all-time leading scorer and a two-time Maine Player of the Year, MVP, and she spent the prep year at Mount Verde Academy. She's now bringing her game back home as a freshman with the Maine Black Bears. Welcome to Fast Break Focus, Bailey Breen. How you doing?
Thanks for having me.
How was
Good,
that
how are
intro?
you?
How was that intro for you?
It was good. That was
That was
good.
good.
You knew a lot.
Yeah, we do a lot of research here at Fast Break Focus. We do a little bit. We do a little bit of searching.
That's good. I like it.
So, just I always like to get into first is tell me about your upbringing in basketball. And what was the basketball like out in Maine? I'm from New England too. I'm from Boston, so I know a little bit of the basketball scene, but just give everybody a preview of it.
Yeah, totally. Growing up, my dad coached boys basketball at Oceanside. He was a boys coach for almost 20 years before he ended up switching over to girls. So I was just around that, like in the gym a lot, watching those practices, whether it was just because I was there for daycare reasons or whether it was as I got older, I wanted to be there. But at first, when you're young and you're 3, 4, like you're just kind of there. And it was always good. Like I'd been around it since such a young age. So I think like part of like the IQ and just like seeing basketball and like watching it and picking things up fast kind of just comes from like surrounding it. Um, I've traveled a lot for AAU. Once I started to get serious about it in like 6th grade, I joined the Maine Firecrackers, and that was kind of when things really started to like get rolling. Before that, I played, but it wasn't really I didn't like have much of a purpose behind it. It was just kind of one of those things like you play, and so I really found my love for it in 6th grade, and then that's kind of everything went up from there.
That sounds good. So you said that and you started taking basketball serious in sixth grade, and I did read that before sixth grade you didn't take it serious. What about sixth grade to get into middle school? Was it like, okay, now it's time to be serious about basketball?
I think honestly my dad just saw like a lot of potential in me, so he put me in a situation that was the best for me at the time and would challenge me. And I think like kind of I was scared, but to go and take that next step and to be tested, but then like realize that I could also succeed at that level, really like made me open my eyes to like what I could possibly do down the road, like if I bought into it. And people had told me that all along, like if you got serious about it, like you're gonna be tall, like you're skilled, you pick things up fast, like everyone was trying to get me into it. And then like once I started to see like success and I started to like get a taste of that victory, like I'm really competitive, so I just chase that like feeling. Like I just want to win. I do anything for my teammates and that type of stuff. So like once you started to like get that energy and like you got close to like girls, like my teammates are always like my best friends no matter where I am. And so like that feeling just like really made things take off for me.
Right. So, do you remember that exact moment where it was like, actually, I'm pretty good at this. I actually am more than just serious. I'm actually pretty good at this.
I think it was probably when we won the Maine State AAU championship, and I believe it was my sixth grade year with the Maine Firecrackers. That was like my first year. We had a group called the Fab Five. Like our team was loaded. We had a great group of girls, but it was Marin Maxon, Ella Pelletier, Vanessa Walker, Julia Walker, and I. And there was like a bunch of other girls, and it was just a good team. Like we all got along. I think there was 9 or 10 of us on the team, and like from 1 to 10, everyone was just like really good, and so everything was super competitive, and we were just really close, and kind of like we saw success together, like at the beginning early, and then the ball just kind of started rolling, and then that really I think lit a fire for a lot of us. That was probably a major turning point.
So, you said that, just jump back for a second. You said, people were telling you you're going to be tall, so you should play basketball. How tall were you in sixth grade?
Oh, I don't know. I don't want to give you false information, but I'd say probably like 5'5", like five something, 5'9", 5'10". I didn't really I didn't really grow much in high school, so I was probably honestly like anywhere between that like 5'8", 6'1", like
Poof.
area.
Golly, yeah, I
Yeah.
can see why they said that.
I was like towering, buddy. I was like so tall.
Is your family tall?
Yeah, my dad's 6'4", my mom's 5'10".
That'll do it.
So
That will do it. That will definitely do it. So, afterwards I don't think a lot of people know this, that you got your first scholarship right before your ninth grade season started. What was that like? What was that like? That doesn't come often. That's very unpopular.
yeah, I mean, I didn't expect it at all. Um, like my dad had said that like Coach Vashon was coming to the game, and like I'd gone to all of her camps growing up, like since I was a little kid, and I mean, she even remembers I used to cry on the sideline because I was too scared to like go out there and do stuff, and like at that point, like recruiting wasn't really there wasn't much happening, so it kind of like caught me off guard, not off guard, but like at that point in time, I was not expecting anything like that. I was still thought that I had a lot of work like that I needed to do. And obviously, like she knows that I had a lot of work that I needed to do at that point too. But like I think getting that and from like your home state like meant a lot to me for that to be like my first offer and obviously where I ended up, that says a lot about like what Maine means to me and the people here. And obviously the coaches and the players and just the environment here is great and the way that they recruited throughout the process really stood out to me and just the type of people they are, but not only people but the coaches, like the way they coach and how they have that like relationship with their players when they're on the court, like it's business, we're going to get after you, but when you're off the court and like we're outside of those lines for practice, like they're fun, like you can walk into the office and have conversations with them and those type of things. So yeah.
Do you remember that feeling when you first got that notification that, hey, I actually got an offer?
Yeah, I remember I was sitting in my kitchen, like we'd just gotten back from practice and I was sitting there and my dad was like, hey, like she wants you to call at this time. And I was like, okay, like didn't really know what to expect, had no idea, still was blindsided. Um, I don't know, he might have known, but like as soon as she said it, I like was crying and I broke down like because I didn't know, I wasn't expecting it, and it was just kind of like you felt like a lot of success in the moment and it was just like overwhelming like happiness at that time. But then like obviously now that like you had that opportunity, like you have to keep working, keep going forward. Like that doesn't mean it's just the end. So I think it was a super happy moment and I was super excited and it was unexpected, but then it like also like you have pressure to like keep going.
And boy, did you live up to that pressure. So you won a very close championship game your freshman year. You guys were losing a little bit of the game. You guys come back. It was a back and forth game your freshman year. What do you remember about that game?
I remember we went into the locker room at halftime, and everyone was kind of like, we were pretty, like, the energy was low. And I
Hmm.
think people thought we were defeated, and definitely, like, the crowd thought we were going to lose. And I don't remember exactly what the pep talk was, but my dad is a coach. He's a pretty hard coach, and he came in and it was a completely different vibe of a conversation that we've ever had as like a halftime talk. So we were all kind of like a little concerned, I'd say. It wasn't anything bad. It was a good talk, but it was very like very positive, encouraging, and like a soft conversation. Whereas like this is what we're not doing. Like it was a good conversation, and I think it really like resonated with some of us that like we could do this. Like we've been playing against boys. They had brought in boys to practice against us like before that game and stuff. Like we had done everything in our power that we could, and like the way we practiced all year and the standards and goals that we held as like a team, that they were right within reach. And like we've done a million things to get us ready for that position, so we just have to like settle down and take it one possession at a time. And I think like really for us coming out of the half, like we took it one possession at a time. It was we dug ourselves out of that hole, and it was like every time we came down the court, it was we're just going to do what we can to execute this play. We're going to go get a stop. And I think we really like bought into moving the ball and like playing together, and it was a full team effort and everyone helped. And it was really exciting to see that like we could overcome that, because it just shows that like what we had done all year and the situations we put ourselves in like really prepared us for that moment.
And if anybody out there that wants to know what a true comeback is, go look up that game and to see the fight in the battle. Because when she said it was a
Yeah, all I can remember was like it came down to some free throws. Like
Mhm.
if I remember right, I had like a left-handed scoop layup, I think, to bring the game pretty close. And then I believe maybe Emily Sykes was at the line and had two foul shots, and then I had two foul shots. And I mean, those two foul shots, or the four that we had, were big time shots. And if I remember right, I think we made all four of them. But it was just like the whole second half was pretending that like it was just us in the gym, like it was just us playing 5-on-5 like we do every day in practice. And when you're at the line, like you're not seeing the thousands of people looking at you and hoping that you either make it or miss it. Like it's just you in the gym. And I think that like really helped a lot of us just kind of calm down and really be able to take it one step at a time.
And boy, did y'all do that. So just now you win a championship going into your junior year. First you lose, you don't make it to the championship your sophomore year. You win districts if I'm not mistaken. And your junior year, for a lot of people don't know, this is an incredible stat that I seen that I had to write down. You scored 1,000 points in 46 games. 5 games into your junior year, you reached 1,000. And if in 46 games, that is an average of 21.7 points per game. You was out there not balling, you were hooping. And then you go on to win a championship that season. What was the difference between, by the way, stop, let me go back. You scored a 30 ball in that game, by the way. You got 30 that game. But what do you remember from the difference between championship from your junior year to your freshman year?
Um, I think definitely everyone told us like after we won one, like it was going to be a lot harder to win two. Not that it's easy to win one by any means, but like once you've won one, it's a lot harder to win two. It's hard to fight the like complacency, like oh we've done it before, like we're good, like we don't need to do the extra this, or we can cut corners. And um I think it was a lot of fighting that and like holding everybody accountable as teammates. Like we all had to make sure we were staying after practice to get extra shots up, make sure we were doing the team bonding things and stuff that like we did freshman year. I think losing sophomore year definitely hurt a lot of us very deeply, and I think we knew what we were capable of, and we just didn't execute, and we didn't play like that game. And obviously it cost us that game. But I think that fire of losing really like we were heartbroken, some of us. I mean, we were upset. We came to school after break, and like you could tell that some of us had been crying, and we were like very quiet and reserved and kind of just wanted to get through time. And I mean, it still stings to this day, like going back and watching the games, like it's like your heart hurts. It's a terrible thing to like have to watch, but I think it was needed. In my 3 years there, that was the only game that we had lost. So I mean, it definitely really stung, but you really just have to take it, and like we took it, and we didn't want to feel that way again, and it was a way that we weren't used to feeling. So like we tried to do everything in our power to make sure that like that didn't happen again, and we did that. I mean, it was a hard road. There were games that we played and we would watch the film and we would be like, we're not really sure how we won that one because this wasn't pretty, but at the end of the day we just kept getting back into the gym and stuff. So I would say that that was probably the biggest thing from the my junior year to my freshman year. Also my junior year, it was a little I was a little less like point scoring wise. I think I only had like 4 points, but a lot of their defense was keyed on, like if you watch the film, like doubling down, tripling down, keying on, they didn't want me to get the ball. And so it was very good that like we had a lot of players who stepped up and hit big shots and a lot of girls that executed their roles really well. And so we used it as an opportunity to get the ball inside where they didn't want it and collapse, and we made extra passes out of that, and we had other players that were ready to step up and hit big shots and create plays, and so it was really good.
You slipped past something way too fast. You lost one game your entire 3 years, and that was that one game.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was that year that we had lost to Spruce Mountain in the regional final. Yeah, I think we were 64-1 if I remember right.
Gosh, gosh, you what when they said that pressure earlier, you lived up to it, didn't I say it? So, so you go 3 years playing with your dad. What was that like playing for your dad those 3 years?
It was really good. I liked it. I'd say freshman year was like a hard year to kind of figure it out. It wasn't Nothing went badly, but I think it was a lot different. Like my dad in the past he had kind of coached me, but not a ton, like a whole season of high school basketball. So he was more of like my dad and my like critiquer at the same time. And like this time as your coach, like he'd get on me a lot, and obviously like I learned to handle it, but at the beginning it was a little like frustrating. Like sometimes like you'd want to just like kind of your instinct is to like want to say something, or like you see something different but like you just can't. And so
Hmm.
like it really helped, like his best friend was one of the assistant coaches, and so like he was a really good buffer to like help us. Like if I saw something but like I didn't want to talk to my dad, like I could talk to him, and we kind of did that. But like after the first few games, like we really figured it out. Like he knew that he could get on me and that I could take it, and he obviously like put a lot of responsibility on me and that type of stuff. But also like some kids, just no matter what team you're on, like everyone's coached different ways, and like he
Hmm.
knew he could coach me hard, and there was obviously other kids he could coach hard. So like sometimes you're getting the yelled at for something that like might not directly be your fault, but like it's easy, like you can help relay it to like the team of like what needs to be fixed and stuff. And so it was good, and like we'd be able to ride to the games together and ride home, and sometimes we might have a quiet car ride if we weren't happy with how things went, if he wasn't happy with how I performed. But like it was overall good. Like we were able to talk, and like I would be able to tell him like, hey, I'm seeing this, like are you seeing this, or like things like that. So it really helped. And I mean he knew, like he had our team's best interests at all times. So it wasn't anything that was like about one person. It was always about kind of like everybody and how what we can do to put the team in the best spot to win. So he is very like an X's and O's guy. He's super creative. Probably one of the best basketball brains I know, and I've played for a lot of coaches, and that's not just because he's my dad, but like no matter what a team threw at us, there was always something with someone that he had figured out. And as soon as they took that away, there was something else that he had up his sleeve to get it to the next spot, to the next person, and the next thing. So I think that that like really, really stands out about him as well.
Now, did you have a hard time getting from dad to coach? Because there's a lot of stories out there, and I'm a victim of one of it. It's a hard time separating dad from coach. Was that a challenge for you?
Um, No, I don't think so. I don't think it was ever like I knew like he's not my dad when we're in those lines, or like even when we got like when we pull up to the gym, like I knew that he wasn't that wasn't the case. And so that helped a lot. I think it was just me having to get used to like being able to be like yelled at and things like that, and just not like let it affect the way I play and those type of
Hmm.
things. Like I'm he knows like he's pushing me to get the best out of me and that type of thing. So it just after like a few games, like you kind of figured that out, and it went well from there. It was like we would the whole way there to the school, like we were in basketball mode. Like we didn't really talk much. Obviously, on the way to games, I was getting locked in and stuff, but on the way home, it would be like very brutal, like coach to player conversation. And then like as soon as we got home, like when we walked through the front door, like that kind of went away, and then it was back to like father daughter mode. So we had a pretty good balance, I would say.
Shout out to dad, huh? Shout out to dad. So right after that, you decide what was your decision to transfer down to Florida?
um I kind of went back and forth on it for a while, and I had gone back and forth on about leaving my junior year. Some people know that, some people don't, but I honestly was homesick my junior year, so I didn't go. And my senior year, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do it. I'd never really been that far away from home for that amount of time, or
The
really at all
top
that
of the
much.
map to the bottom of the map.
Yeah, it was a big transition, but my sister went with me actually, and
Hmm.
she wanted to go, and I'd just been training up here with like Matt McKenzie and Brian Scalabrine, and working with them. Like they had connections down there, and they had like talked to the coach about me, and then he came to my AAU games, and he was just really like him or the assistant Darvin. So it was Matt Shoemaker and Darvin Gill. Like they were at every game of mine, whether it was like 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. Like there was always one of them there, and it didn't matter what location we were at. And so like that to me like really stood out. Like they cared, and like they wanted it. It wasn't just one of those things where like, hey, like we're gonna yeah, you have a spot here, but like we're not gonna really like, put much effort into it. Like they really put a lot of effort into it, and they made sure like everything was laid out beforehand, and like that just made me feel like confident in the people that like I was that were gonna be like the adults in my life, and like being taken care of you. Like if you needed something, they would be who you'd want to call, and like I like felt really comfortable with them. So I think that helped make the transition. But I think really just for me, it was about like what I could do to elevate my game to the next level. I think like the competition's great here in Maine, but it was like what can you do to put yourself against like the best of the best in the country, and it was kind of an opportunity that like I couldn't turn down. You're going to play against the best athletes, the top ranked athletes every day, and like that can only make you better. And so it was something that like I really thought about, but at the end of the day that was like the biggest piece. Like if I wanted to know what I was really capable of and like what I could do, that was an opportunity that like at the end of the day if I didn't take, I would have thought about the what ifs, and I would have had like guilt in my stomach that I didn't try it. So
So, what did you learn from that year?
um at the beginning of the year, it was a little like rough settling in. Like it was more of kind of like, oh, I haven't been away from home type of thing. So like you thought like, oh no, can I really do it? I love my team though. Like we got there and we are super close from the beginning to the end, and like we still are to this day. And like those girls mean everything to me, and they did when we were there, and they made it like super easy to be there. And I think like basketball wise, I would say that like rebounding defensively, um, defense like rebounding, just both of those things separate from each other. And then like I think I expanded my ability to like shoot the three ball. Like before I would shoot it, but I wasn't really as confident in it. But then like when I got there, like they had this confidence in me shooting the ball that like I wasn't afraid to let it go. And I think like at that level, like I gained a quicker release and like more confidence in my shooting, and I shot the ball at a pretty high percentage. So it was a good opportunity to grow offensively and defensively. And then I think as like a person as well, like you're surrounded by different people, and everyone came from different places that they believed in different things, and everyone was really like the best player prospectively on their teams when they came there. So you had a
Hmm.
lot of like the people that were the ones at their old schools coming together, so you had to find like your new identity, and I think that that was like important to me to be able to like be in a situation like that where I'm not the one that like everyone's like looking at, like it's a collective group of like everyone was that person at their high school, and like now you're together, so like there can be 10 of that like person on this team, so everyone kind of had to like we had people, everyone had their nights, like different nights, but then on nights where like it wasn't your night, you were filling your role, and I think like I learned how to like utilize different strengths in my game to fulfill my role, which was something new to me that like I didn't necessarily have to do here. So I think it helped create me more of like a universal player. And then it taught me a lot about like toughness, mental toughness. I've been battling a back injury since like the middle of the season there
Mhm.
until I just recently got cleared. So that's been a little tough too, but yeah.
So, what is it about the main takeovers? I was reading about it, I call it the main takeover. You, the Breen sisters, and the Flag twins went down to Florida, Mount Verde. And did you was this a conversation between you guys, or is this just like it just happened that way?
No, it just happened that way, honestly. Like it was not ever like it just kind of happened. Like there was not a connection between the two of them. Obviously, like Cooper trains with Matt McKenzie too.
Hmm.
Brian Scalabrine. So there was like kind of that connection there, but there was no like connection between like them going and us going. It just kind of turned out that way. We had the opportunity, and so like we decided to take it. And obviously, we're all very different people, and like
Hmm.
they went for their reason, we went for ours. But I think it was definitely a good opportunity, so we had to take it.
Well, it's gonna be hard for you to beat those claims that you say that it had nothing to do with things because right after Ace committed to Maine, you committed to Maine. So so it's gonna be hard for you to fight those allegations, as I say.
Oh yeah, they come off all the time, but I promise it wasn't like that.
I understand. I'm just messing. So so you commit right before your senior year, right before the season starts to Maine, and like you said, you loved the fact that it felt home. They were there. I read that the coach had told you, we'll allow you to play your game, but you had 28 other D1 offers. Um, was there anybody else in had a conversation that's like, I might choose them over Maine if I had to go somewhere else?
Um, I went on 3 or 4 official visits, I think. I also visited a lot of places unofficial.
Hmm.
I I cut it down to like 5, pretty early into the fall, and then I just kind of went from there. There were some situations like I just kind of took my visits, went through the process, and then like went with what my gut told me and like how things were. I actually didn't take an official visit here because I had been here so many times growing up. Like
What more can you learn?
I'd come up just to meet with the coaches and check in and stuff. And like when I called, I was like, hey, like, you know, I want to like I you guys are in my top, and like you guys are my top choice. I just do you want me to take an official visit or not? And they were like, no, like if you're gonna take them somewhere else, like you can take them somewhere else, and like you've been here, you've seen everything, that type of thing. And I think like even going on other visits and stuff, like I always had this place in mind, like when I left and stuff. And so I knew that like that was a big thing to me. Like I'd always loved it here and stuff, but I knew like when you're going on visits and then you're thinking about somewhere else, like that's not the place. So yeah, but Maine always stood out. So
Right. And I'm gonna throw in a little plug. I seen that your sister took an unofficial visit to Boston College. Hey, Boston, we need that. All right. By the way, back to the interview. Back to the interview. So what do you what are you looking forward most to this season coming up? I know you just said you just got cleared, and what are some expectations that you have for yourself?
I think the biggest thing for me right now is to just get back into it. I had a lot of time where I wasn't able to do anything, and then I had a little bit of time where I was able to do minimal stuff, and that's just a setback, like in general. I think like mentally, physically, emotionally, all those things. And so I think the biggest thing for me is just to see like a physical difference right now. Like obviously like I'm practicing, things are the ball is rolling, we're making progress. But I think for me like it's about learning the system. We've been practicing it a lot, so just like taking in like a sponge what we're doing in practice, like learning the system, being able to make the right reads, the right cuts, that type of thing. But I think for me like the biggest thing right now is the physicality, like just being able to get back into good running shape and like defensively and all that type of stuff. Like not being able to do anything for a while definitely like hurts that a little bit, but we're working on it. We're on a great situation, like great spot with great people who are helping me do that. So I think that that's the biggest thing. But like for us as a team, obviously, like we're in the gym every day, working as hard as we can. We're a really tight knit group. The girls are great. We're really talented on the court, and so like I'm excited for this year and like what it's gonna bring because everyone's just so talented that like it seems like there's an answer for everything, no matter how you slice it. Like the coaches always have a very detailed plan of like what we're gonna do and where the ball's gonna go and to who and that type of stuff. And it's still so early, so like we're all still learning. We're all still learning each other and how to play with each other. But it's been really good so far. So I'm super excited for like what this year has to bring.
And trust me, the Fast Way Focus podcast did follow you guys on Instagram, so we will be keeping up with you guys, and hopefully we wish you guys nothing but success this season.
Oh, thank you.
So just to talk about the season a little bit going forward, um your coach, you spoke very highly of your coach. What did that dynamic have to do with the how comfortable you now feel in this at this school?
Um, our relationship started from a very young age. I went to her dad's basketball camps, and then I went to hers, and it was a little rough at first. I kind of stood off to the side, whatever. But I think like I grew over the years. Obviously, I think a big thing for me was that she had the confidence in me and thought that I could do it before anybody else did. And that like meant a lot to me that she was, I mean, obviously she said that it's a big responsibility that like you have and like there's a lot of trajectory going forward. Like you can either live up to it or you cannot and that type of thing. So like I think just her, she was always like brutally honest with me, like going through the recruiting process. And that's one thing that like you want in a coaching staff. Like you want someone that's going to be honest to you and that's not going to play games or beat around the bush. And so it was like a lot of honesty. I love the system that she plays and the way that she coaches. I know like she's going to hold you to a high standard. She's going to hold you accountable and she'll get on you and she'll coach you hard, but she's also like off the court. If you needed something, you could call her, you could message her. I know like I've been able to have a lot of conversations like throughout my high school career, like whether it was, oh, should I leave my junior year or like, hey, I'm going to Montverde or like, hey, I'm struggling like with this at this time. Like I was always able to call her and like have those conversations and she was always like very receptive to those and she would always have some advice to tell me and kind of like help me keep it down and just kind of one step at a time and help with the next move. So I think like that being able to really like go to her about like basketball and like non-related basketball things, but like that type of stuff really like speaks to volume of who she is like outside of those lines. And it's somebody that like I'm a big people person, so like I want to feel comfortable with you for me to be able to like open up and express things to you and like want to talk to you. And so I think that for me to like have that comfortability with her really like stood out about her, so that like really helped me have the confidence and like that I knew that I was making the right decision and like I knew what I was walking into and I knew the type of people that she had here and who she was. And so I felt really good about that.
Hmm. I like that. I like that. So just to dive off of this a little bit, but I want to stay here with Maine a little bit. Um, the Mid Coast. I don't know if you know that, there's gonna be people out there that's going to be looking up to you. You're obviously the best baller. I'm gonna say it, you're not saying it, I'm saying it for her. You're the best baller coming from your high school. So there are people up there looking up to you. And what does that mean to you? Do you even notice it?
Yeah, I think a big thing for me is like giving back to the community. So I noticed that there's like a lot of young kids that look up to me and look up to other of the amazing women's basketball players that we've had in the state, like go to college and play
Mhm.
basketball and just do great things overall. So, there's been other people that like paved the way and put Maine on the map, and so like I'm grateful for that, and I look up to them just like it's an ongoing pattern. Like these little girls look up to me and other players, obviously, in this time, and it's good to like when we're having like community things, whether it's like little kids camps, or things like that. Like you really see the numbers. Like I've had there's 3 or 4 summer camps this summer, and um, they were all full. So they were always full. They were always sold out. I had people like messaging me, "Hey, can I get my kid in?" And I like felt so guilty being like, "No," but there's like one of me and 40 of them, and you don't want to take too many, but like you just get those kids in the gym, and they're like sponges. They
Mhm.
listen. Like you tell them to be quiet and like listen, and they're really locked in. And like sometimes when you go to little kids practice and like you can tell like the coach is talking and they're off like giggling in the corner, like these kids were really focused and they were asking questions and they wanted to be in the gym. And I have messages from parents about like individual training, small group trainings, things like that. And just like the messages from people like, "Hey, like my daughter loved working with you," or trying to do the little things. Like I know we've signed balls for people and sent them to girls and fans like as a team, and we try to stay out in the community and do things like that. So they don't just look up to us and think like, like we're not going to acknowledge them. We try to, as a team here at UMaine, at Oceanside, at Montford, like wherever we are, we really try to like give back to that and like let people know that like we're out in the community, we're people, people, and like we want to help you, we want to be there for you, we want to be a mentor to you, and we're not just like in our own world and not going to acknowledge you. It's important to me, like, to hear what people think, like those little kids, and if they have questions or if they want help, like, I would do anything for them. So I think we really give back to our community and try to be active in our community as much as I can.
The second to last thing I have for you is something that's a new thing I'm starting to do with everybody. What is that shot or that moment that sticks with you the most throughout your career? It could be good or bad.
Ooh. Um, I don't know. There's like three that come to mind.
Hmm.
There's the one in the Herman State Championship, that game, that left hand scoop layup. That was a really like big shot for that game, and it kind of stuck. And then um the foul shots of that game, high stress, big time shots. So those two definitely like come to mind right off the bat. And then probably where I scored my 1,000th point on our home court, that little one dribble middle spin back right hand layup. That was a really really big moment. I mean, there's pictures of like most of, I'd say probably the whole town was there, and like everyone in the bleachers is like standing up, their hands high and like yelling, and it's a really cool picture. And so like I remember obviously that shot, but like you have something to remember that moment with too.
Right. Now I know I said that was second last question, but I do. What mid coast? Can you explain what that is to people?
So we're honestly kind of like a triangle between like Bangor's up here and Portland's down here, and we're kind of here on the water. And I might be biased, but I think it might be one of the best places in Maine. Super pretty. Like we have the beaches, we have the town. Camden's right up the road, so you have a little coastal town there. You have the coastal town Rockland. We're on the water, obviously. There's a lot of like fishing. We're big in lobstering. There's also like other fishing industries that people like to do, and um, there's we're very known for like there's mountains to hike. It's like Katahdin is up near Bangor, so that's not like a mid coast thing, but there's like really cool lighthouses. There's islands to go to.
Mhm.
Like we go camping on an island all the time. We have a camp out there, so like that's like mid coast to us. But yeah, really outdoorsy, really pretty. Definitely like the summertime is the best year, but we have high temperatures in the summer, super sunny. There's a ton of things to do. Beautiful area, very like you want to be outside oriented. Great restaurants. We have a ton of good seafood. We have a ton of different places that specialize in different types of seafood. So you won't go wrong. You won't go wrong with coming to Mid Coast.
For a lot of people that don't know, Maine is a beautiful state. It is a lot of nature, and like I said, if you're an outdoorsy person, Maine is the place to go. Was you an outdoor
I
person
agree.
growing up?
Kind of. I grew up on the water,
Mm.
obviously, but like my dad's a lobsterman, so like we were like actually out on the water a lot. I used to lobster. I have my own traps and stuff, so I do that a little bit. But like out on the boat, out on the islands, like I would be like sixth, seventh grade driving the boat around. Obviously, my mom was on the boat, but like that's like really main and outdoorsy of us. But like that's really like one of the biggest things that like stands out to the people in our area is doing those type of things.
Sounds good. I might take you up. I have to go to Maine one day. Go lobster catching because you guys have a fresh crab, fresh and the best crab. Well, I'm from Boston, so I'm being a little biased. So I'm
Yup,
gonna say the best, but you know.
I think it is the best.
I know, sorry. Speak up for your people. So, the last thing I have is I need a quote. I need a Bailey Breen's quote.
Hmm. Like one that I come up with off the top of my head.
Anything, the one that sticks with you, the one that, a coach may have said that you that sticks with you all the way, or just anything that, what is your favorite quote that you say to yourself at night?
Oof. Um, the one where it's like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I really like that one, and I know it's like super original and like basic, but I think it applies to like a lot more than just basketball. I think it applies to life and everything that you do, like even like situations. Like if you don't take an opportunity, you don't know what it could have been. If you don't take the shot, you don't know if you were gonna make it or miss it. So I think it's a very simple, generic, like, oh, that's kind of boring quote, but I think it applies to everything in life. Like you can apply it to any situation, and it's very true. Like I think of it all the time when I'm trying to make decisions. Like, is this decision a decision where like, hey, like if I don't take this opportunity, like, am I gonna wonder the what if? Is it gonna sit not right in my stomach? Like those type of things. So I think like that really goes beyond like just making decisions, but like it could even be in the classroom. Like, hey, am I gonna reach out if I need help, or am I going to push myself and take this harder level class, or I'm not sure if I can do this major, but I'm gonna try it. Like you don't know what you can do unless you try it. So I think that like really resonates with me when I'm in tough situations. Just every day that quote comes to mind, and especially when you're going through like slumps in basketball, obviously like that's come up a lot too. Like every a lot of people have like shooting slumps and like where they're really up and down, and I think like when I'm not hitting those shots, it's like, well, you can't stop taking them. And I think like over the years I've kind of come up with a mindset based off of that quote. Like if I miss five in a row, I'm gonna make the next 10. And like I think you just really like that helps like keep pushing you forward, and it helps you hold yourself to a high standard, helps you hold other people to a high standard, and it really helps you like get involved with opportunities and make sure you're taking risks.
Oh, that's right. And I cannot wait to follow your story, follow your season, and see how this goes because this has been another amazing interview. And we appreciate you for your time. We can have you on after the season so we can get a quick update, talk about everything. And is there anything anybody want to shout out, any plugs you want to throw in or anything?
No, I think just like shout out to my family and my friends and like my people for like getting me to where I am today. Like I wouldn't be here without them, and obviously that goes to say all my teammates that I've ever played with and all the coaches I've ever played for, like they play a big role in where I am today. And I'm excited for this year with my team and my teammates and my coaches now. Like they play a role in where I am today as well, and where I'm gonna be in the next 4 years, and where we're going to be as a team in the next 4 years. And I think it's going to be an exciting time here. And Maine basketball is doing really great things all across the board. And if you're not already, you should be a Maine women's basketball fan. And yeah.
I know that's right. I know that's right. This has been another fantastic, fantastic interview. Thank you, Bailey Breen, for jumping on the podcast. It's been another amazing one. Thank you, and have a good one.
Thank you for having me.
Hold on.
Pop out your ass in trouble. Yeah, and when you take a pic, I like the way you pose a special